Hey everybody, I'm sitting here looking at my waterfall tank. I just did a big water change. I've been working on the aphid problem. I've added some fish to it today. I've removed some stuff. And while I was sitting here, I noticed some movement out of the corner of my eye. And I looked down. And if you can see right here, underneath this sheet of Lexan, it's not moving at the moment, but that is a sculpin. So that must have flipped itself out of this tank. You know, right here, I've noticed they like to lay right here on the surface of the leaves and everything that are floating on the water. And this one must have flipped itself out and landed in here and wriggled itself down, and it's now trapped under there. So I have no idea how long it's been under there, but it's probably been a while. And I'm just stunned because this is brackish water down here. And this is not only fresh water, but it's very, very low TDS, or at least compared to brackish water. It's only about 100 parts per million or 90 parts per million in this tank. And then this water down here is probably, I don't know, 2,500 parts per million, 3,000 parts per million, something like that. It's a lot. It's brackish water. So there you go. I've got to get in here and wriggle this little guy out. Let's see if we can do it while we've got it on camera. I'm almost reluctant to just throw him right back in the tank, because I've shocked fish like that before, dropping the dissolved solids. You know, they were in very high dissolved solids, and I've put them in fresh water and they've died. But this one clearly has gone the other direction without incident. So you know what, hang on half a minute, let me put you on pause here. Alright, so I got a little cup that's about 75% tank water and about 25% fresh water out of the tap. And now we're going to see if we can't actually get him out of there. If I get it to wriggle forward, I can maybe get it up into my hand. There we go, that's what I'm trying to do. He looks healthy enough to me. So there you go. I'm really, really surprised. I know a lot of the fish that are in my native tank and a lot of the fish around here, bluegill, bass, a lot of the fish that you find in these freshwater environments around here are actually euryhaline animals and can swim right on downstream into either Baltimore's Inner Harbor, which is not far from me, or the Chesapeake Bay, which is not far from me. So a lot of fish around here really are euryhaline, including just about everything in my native tank, and that includes the West African spotted tilapia that I have in there. That's also a brackish fish, or a euryhaline fish. So I had no idea that these sculpins were brackish. I know there is a saltwater fish that's called a sculpin. I didn't think they were related. I thought the name was just similar. So this really kind of surprises me. Let's add a little bit of tank water. I just did a really big water change on this tank, so this tank is about as close to what my tap water is as you can get. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time acclimating this guy. In fact, I will do him right here on video. Before this video is over, we're going to have him back in the other tank, as long as he doesn't act like anything is wrong. So there's another one you can see back there. And then this one down here is my clown pleco that sort of looks like at first glance. And then of course there's one of my new frogs. I put some new frogs in here today. We'll do an update on this tank later. I've added some new fish, and like I said, I've done some work and stuff, so I don't want to get into too much detail, but I did add 2 new frogs today. I had 4 of them in there, and now I'm down to 1. And so I added 2 more today, but I did find the 2 biggest frogs in the tank that they had, and hopefully they'll be big enough, because I thought that the big sculpin that was in the tank had been eating the frogs. And I've been looking and looking today, and I could not find that big sculpin anywhere. And this is why. I didn't think to look under the plexiglass or Lexan, whatever. It's not technically plexiglass, but I didn't think to look underneath of the polycarbonate Lexan in my red-clawed crab tank. Again, a brackish tank. I would have not suspected this to even be alive if it went into that brackish water. So there you go. They're tough little guys, and they're definitely euryhalian animals, because that long in brackish water would have killed any other fish that was, a freshwater fish that could not deal with that kind of salinity. So this is not even showing any signs of distress. Its coloration's not changing or anything. So we're going to go ahead and put it right in there. And the tiny little bit of brackish water that came out of that tank to go into this one is not going to make a lick of difference. So I'm not concerned about that aspect of it either. You can put quite a bit of salt in this 40-gallon tank without making any difference at all. So there you go. Surprise, surprise, was not expecting to do that today. Very, very interesting. So, as I always say, make sure you're subscribed. You never know what you're going to get with me. I'm going to start looking around now. Maybe the frogs are in this tank, because the frogs often lie on top of those floating plants as well. And I've often wondered if, one of the fish spooks one of the frogs or even attempts to eat it. And then the frog jumps, will it just jump out of this tank, which is obviously a possibility. And I never would have ever thought to consider that might have happened to one of the sculpins. And again, landing down here in this tank just blows me away. So make sure you're subscribed. You won't miss anything. You never know what it's going to be. Although I will say you are going to be getting an update here on my waterfall tank. As I said, I was working on it a little bit today, working on the aphid outbreak I've had, and spraying for them and doing some water changes and moving some stuff around, etc., etc. So again, if you're subscribed, you won't miss that. Thanks for watching. See you real soon in the next one.